What's good, Year 11 VCAL Numeracy class? Mr. Herman here. I hope you guys are doing well during remote learning. I know it has presented its fair share of challenges, and to some students its fair share of ease within numeracy and maybe other subjects as well. So kudos to you. Well done, guys. I know it can be a bit tricky being isolated from your friends and your family, and not being able to just do what we usually do best and just go out and socialize. So I give you credit where credit is due. Hang in there. I'm not too sure how long this is going to last for, but we'll just keep chugging along because that's what we do best. Okay. This video is going to talk about what's expected for the assignment for the data topic. Now, Miss McLean and myself, a lot of the work comes from Miss McLean and Mr. Sturges. They've been looking at different assignments that they have dug up from the past, and I've had a look at these assignments, and Miss McLean had to obviously alter these assignments because initially what we had you guys wanting you guys to do rather is conduct a survey yourself. Based on information or observations that you had to do while we were going to be at school. But obviously we can't do this considering the obvious circumstances. So with this in mind, we have created an assignment based on data that we have presented to you. Okay, so you don't have to conduct a survey of any sort. The survey has been hypothetically completed for you, and then you have just to have to look at this data and present information. So we'll look into this now. I'm quickly just going to put myself here, and what we have right here is what you guys should hopefully have access to via Microsoft Teams or via Compass through the resources. Okay, and this right here is a student transportation survey, and this is what you'll be doing. You'll be using the skills that you have been working on I think it was chapter 36 textbook, using those skills from log 1 to log 10, and with those skills we're going to be able to break down the student transportation survey, what you need to do, what's required from it, you'll see in a second. But hopefully those skills that you've learned from those textbook questions should be able to help you, because the assignment itself, as clear as it can be, you kind of have to start with your own direction. Okay, it is a report-based assignment. Okay, so it can get a bit tricky not knowing where to start. But within the assignment itself, there is a summary at the end that shows you what's expected. Okay, and I'll break down everything within here. I'm not going to obviously tell you the answers to this, but I'll give you a breakdown. So we're going to be looking at transport used by VCAL students to get to their workplace. So a teacher conducted a survey, and a subset of a very large quantity of data is presented in a table below. So what happened was, teacher surveyed VCAL students, and within there the following questions were asked, and I asked 3 questions. The first one was, what is the total distance traveled to your workplace each day? One way, not both ways, but just one way to the nearest kilometer. And then the student will give their response. Second question, on average, that should say how long, luckily I haven't put this up into Compass yet. How long does it take to travel to your workplace? And again, this is a one way, and this is to the nearest minute. Okay, so nothing has been provided via hours, it's all through minutes and to the nearest minute. And the last one, circle private transportation or public transportation. So either one, if it was private transportation, and by private we just mean either you take your own car or you get a lift in a car with your parents or your friends, and this does include carpooling as well. So maybe you work with another person at your school that also goes to that same workplace, and you guys do a share of a lift of some sort. That also counts as private. Okay, so this is either private or public transportation. So that's trains or buses, or even taxis, which might be rare. It could happen. Okay. But that's a form of public transportation, and that's an answer that they had to provide, 1 or 2. And so with that survey that was given out, I'll put myself here, I'll kind of trip myself out there. There we go. So with this survey, in this investigation, the data collected in the survey, we're going to use this to explore any relationships between how long it takes, the distance traveled, and what type of transport used, and see if there's any characteristics that we can pull out. Okay, so the sample of 40 random students were taken. So just be really careful when you read this. It's been split in the middle here in half. Students 1 to 20 is on the left hand side, and then students 21 to 40 is on the right hand side. So student 1 comes, they tell what the distance is, so 0.5 kilometers, and how long it took, 5 minutes. And the type of transportation is private. Okay, so private, so either they've taken a car. Quick recap, if you're walking to your workplace, this also counts as private. Okay, and then that's one form of information. And then the second student comes in, they say their workplace is 20 kilometers away, it takes them half an hour. And again, they have private form of transportation. So 40 people have provided, 40 VCAL students to be specific, have provided this information. So then what you'll be doing is you'll be writing a report that will summarize the data above using the data analysis skills you obtained during the handling data textbook questions, which was in chapter 36, which is the PDF that was on Compass and Microsoft Teams. You'll also need to answer the below questions or prompts to help you out with the report. And obviously your report should include an aim. Okay, so what's the aim of this report? Now, it's highly suggested that you read the task fully before you write what your aim is. And your aim does count towards a score for this. Okay. And the actual question parts are broken up into 2 questions, question 1 and question 2. You'll go ahead and have a read of these questions, what's expected for you to do. And then once you've read the questions and answered them, you will need a conclusion. And the conclusion just has a look at whether your objectives that you stated in the aim previously, whether they've been met. And you're going to write a paragraph that discusses whether you achieved your objectives. Okay, now obviously you would have written a pretty clear aim after reading what's expected, and then obviously answer the questions. So obviously yes, you would have achieved your objectives. Okay, this is going to be due on the 14th of May, which is a Thursday. Okay. If you do need extra time for whatever reason, just give me a heads up, but be vigilant. Okay, the earlier you can tell me, the better. Don't tell me very, very last minute, because I've got a scheduled timetable how I correct this. Okay, so just give me the heads up and say, look, I feel like after reading this, there might be a few things I'm going to struggle with. Is it alright if I get an extra bit of time? And I will give you an extra bit of time. I'm not going to be too lenient. Okay, so you've had plenty of time to work on this whole chapter and solely this chapter during numeracy. Okay, but just communication is key. Okay, so just give me the heads up. And the last page, page 3, is a criteria sheet. So this is worth 35 marks all up, which is quite a few marks for an assignment, but it's broken down into the different sections. Okay, so up the top where you see the aim and in brackets 2, that just means your aim is worth 2 marks, and then it's got a little sub description that tells you just a bit of a direction of what's needed within the aim. Okay, now obviously there's only one thing that's needed within the aim that's worth 2, So all up, this aim is worth 2. Then with question 1A, which is worth 5, this is broken up into these 4 subcategories. You need a selection of random sample, which is within the question. Ensure at least 5 of each transportation types is included. Again, worth 1. Explain how you selected your sample, worth 2. And the table of information is worth 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So question 1A is worth 5 marks. Okay. Then question 1B, 2A, 2B, etc. gives you a little indication of what's expected, where you should spend most of your time. So obviously the more marks it's worth, the more detail and the more requirements are needed for that question. Okay, so don't spend so much time on your aim and then skimp over question 2A, because that's just poor time management for this assignment. Okay. Presentation also is a big thing. Now you can use graph paper. Now graph paper obviously is not going to be readily available for you guys while we're doing this remotely. So if you want to use a computer, the data part, you can use Microsoft Excel. We've had a bit of practice with that now from the previous topic. And then you can use Microsoft Excel in conjunction with Microsoft Word. That is fine. Just make sure that if you are using those programs and you save those files, make sure the file itself has your name on it. Okay, it's very easy to lose all of these documents on here, especially if they're nameless and nothing has any indication of who it belongs to. Just makes it tricky on my end. Okay, so just make sure everything's labeled, named, the document's named. It just makes it 10 times, 100 times easier for me. Okay, and that pretty much is a summary. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. This is a summary of what the student transportation survey assignment entails. Okay, if you have any questions, just flick me an email or send me a chat in Microsoft Teams, and I'm more than happy to help you out. In the meantime, have a look at what's required and see if you can smash this out. Take care, guys. I'll see you in potentially the next video. Bye-bye.